Hello, everybody. Thanks for listening to Wake Up, Look Up, a podcast where we connect events happening in real time to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Zach Wyrock. And in today's episode, we're talking about planned isolation. We're asking the question, should we help people be lonely? And the answer, I'm going to tell you, is unequivocally no. But the question comes from a recent trend in designing public spaces. As the world grows increasingly more isolated, as people grow increasingly more comfortable with being alone, with living lives in solitary, without a family, without friends, what we're seeing is that architects are designing now public spaces that are to be consumed or enjoyed by individuals. For example, Wutopia Lab in China recently designed an art museum that they said was paradise for the individual. That's because they curated the experience not to be enjoyed with someone else, but to be enjoyed by yourself. Another place you can see this is in the Harvey Milk Terminal in San Francisco's International Airport, where particular seating is designed to isolate you from the rest of the people in the airport and give you an individual space for the individual traveler. It's interesting, by the way, if you look at the picture, even in the article I read in the New York Times about the Harvey Milk chairs, you'll see people are sitting in them and they are, you guessed it, on their phones. And here's the thing, we aren't talking about private moments of contemplation. Everybody knows you need a little me time sometimes, that it's important sometimes to get away and to think and to recharge, especially for some of you introverts, that the way you're going to recharge your battery is by being alone, reading a book, watching a movie, taking a nap, going for a walk. Those are okay things. But what we're talking about here is a public embrace of an individualistic, isolated life, and that is never going to go well for you. And the reason for that is because we are designed to live in community. In the very beginning, when God looks at the world that he's made and he says about man, it is not good that he would be alone. What he means is the task he's given us to be fruitful, to multiply, to fill the earth, to have dominion over it, to shape and mold and create. Those are communicative, collective experiences. They require us being together. They require the sharing of gifts and talents and conversation, that we are never fully human in isolation. And we know that because isolation today isn't leading to contemplation. Isolation is a retreat into technology. That's why in the picture, everyone sitting in the chairs are on their phones. That actually, in this case, literally, when we retreat into isolation, we are becoming less human. We're becoming more technological, more robotic. By retreating, we're becoming less than what we were meant to be. And actually what we need to be doing is not, in terms of capitalism, kind of leaning into the trend of isolation and curating experiences for the isolated. What we need to be doing is pushing back against this trend. We need to be calling those who are lonely into community. That the way you combat this is not by redesigning parks or art museums or terminals. The way you combat this is by filling the empty seat at your dining room table. It's by having someone over for dinner. It's by including them in your hike, including them in your hobbies, including them in the things that you're doing. It's by giving them a counter narrative, a contrast, saying, I know you've been living a life of isolation, but watch what happens as we draw you in to community. The thing is, the more we retreat into our phones, not only do we diminish, but the less experience we have with the actual community that will cause us to come alive. We can't remember the last time we were really alive. So we learn to function at a kind of half-life state. Listen, I'm not an architect. I'm not a park designer. I don't understand any of those things, but I do know this. I am not meant to be alone. Don't create spaces for me to lean into myself. Instead, create opportunities and invitations for me to be part of something greater than myself. This is where, by the way, as Christians, we can offer a counter narrative through the place we call the church. It's why the ministry of presence, of showing up to a weekend service a few minutes early and staying a few minutes late to hopefully draw people into the community, is one of the most powerful things you can do. Man wasn't designed to live alone, and so our public spaces shouldn't be designed for him to be that way. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. While you're here, we'd love to ask you to hit subscribe or to like so you get future content. If you listen to the audio version too, make sure you leave a review and a comment. That really helps. Consider sharing it on social media and helping us get the word out. And hey, while you're here, check out all the other content that Christ Community Chapel is putting out, including the videos that are around me right now.